world-famous author, highly intelligent and sophisticated. It makes you wonder, J.B. Fletcher, how you came to be buried in a tiny town in the back of Maine where the people are, if you forgive me, hardly your intellectual equal.
Let's stop right now, Mr. Keats. I'm sorry, but I really can't allow you to insult my friends and my home. Look, if this is what you're after, then you'll have to leave me out of it.
I'm sorry. Now I know who the real tough guy is in this twosome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 15 of the Cabot Cove Confab podcast. This is Sean.
And Steve.
And we're going to talk about Obituary for a Dead Anchor shortly. After we get stuff off of our collective backs. Hopefully it won't take as long as the last episode.
Was this the last time we talked? Was this one you thought took place on a cruise because of the word anchor?
What?
I could have swore you said, I think it takes place on a boat or out in the ocean. Because you thought anchor was the boat anchor, not a news report.
I don't know. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said last week. Everything that you say that I said, I can't remember. You know, people tweet me and say, you said this and that. I don't remember, people. That was like 2 weeks ago that we recorded that. Even more. That was like 4 months ago. Why are you, tweeting me about that? Lonnie Kazan was in Colombo. I get it. Stop tweeting it at me.
No one's saying that.
Yeah, they are.
So last week you said you were not drinking. Had sobriety.
Yeah.
Past you. No, what?
Okay, so we are recording on a Sunday, and I was supposed to take my my blood test on a Monday tomorrow. And then on Thursday night, I was like, wait, maybe I can change it. And so I changed it, so I took my blood test on Friday morning, and so now I'm drinking. That's what happened there.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's great. I'm back.
So that's funny. I went to the doctor recently and had some blood work done. You do that when you get old.
Yeah.
You have to do physicals. And
by the way, I want to say for the readers, if you are young or if you're old, I don't care what you think young or old is, you have to go to your doctor once every 6 months, get your blood checked. Your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, all that, because that's how you maintain a healthy lifestyle. Because there's people, they don't do that. They go their whole life without doing that, and then, oh my God, I've got liver cancer. I have no idea how. And then they're dead. They're dead. I'm sorry, Steve.
You're really depressing. God, I don't even know where to go with that. Okay, yeah. So I had good news. Thank you for railroading what I was saying. So I figured after the holidays I put on some weight. And sometimes in your back of your mind when you think you put on weight, you just, is it called body dysmorphia or something like that, where you see yourself? Yeah, I definitely suffer from that. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh dear God, this is not good. And so I was kind of like, you know how they weigh you when you go to the doctor. It's the first thing they do, and I hate it. And as you know me, I like to wear cowboy boots. Now, I've stopped wearing cowboy boots when I go to the doctor because I know they weigh like an ounce more than tennis shoes. Whatever. Significant enough amount where I don't want to wear. Like, I'm not wearing underwear, socks. Like, I'm just, I go in, if I could go in a bathing suit and weigh myself, then you could see me completely. Whatever. So, they weighed me, and Sean, I did not gain a pound since last time, which was like 6 months ago.
Oh, that's good.
I was so happy. And then we were celebrating on Friday a holiday, and my wife took a photo, and I looked at the photo. I don't know if you do this, but when someone takes a picture, a group photo of you and with your friends or whatever, you tend to focus in on yourself. Like, how do I look?
Yeah.
So I did that because I'm a narcissist, and I noticed I don't look as big as I thought I looked in those photos. Because usually when I look at the photo, I'm like, oh dear God, who's that blubber guy? But I actually look thin again, and I was so happy. I love the photo my wife took of me.
I love that for you, Steve. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had that for all my life. Since I was, 13. Somebody took a picture of me, I didn't like it. I am fat in every single picture.
You're not fat. I think it's that dysmorphia thing. Honestly.
I don't know.
So, I'm happy that... everything else is crappy. I'm going to die next month, but I did not gain a pound.
So you're spending...
Disease.
You're spending our pre-show banter talking about how you didn't gain any weight. That's what it is.
Didn't gain a pound. Not a pound.
Yay. I don't know what else to say.
Now it's going to be...
what else to say. Good for you.
Now I'm going to overindulge because you need to make up for it. And now next time they check, I'll gain 10 pounds.
Speaking of overindulging, you know what I had for dinner or lunch yesterday? I had one of them chicken jalapeno popper sandwiches from Wendy's.
Oh, that nasty Wendy's sandwich.
Fuck you. It's delicious.
So gross.
It's so good. Fuck you.
I bought one on the recommendation that you gave me. I had the most delicious jalapeno popper chicken sandwich I've ever had. It is so delicious. I bought 5 extra ones to bring home, or whatever you told me. And I said, "Oh wow, that must be really good because I like spicy chicken sandwiches too." It was the worst thing I'd ever stuck in my mouth.
All right, so Popeyes came out with their spicy. By the way, fuck, Murder She Wrote. We're going to talk about, Popeyes came out with their chicken sandwich, and then every single fast food chain came out with their own chicken sandwich. And Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's. Have you not tried any of these? Do you have a favorite?
Yes, and KFC came out with a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, KFC, yes.
Pretty good. They have a regular and a spicy. I go for the spicy every time. Great.
Me too. Have you tried the Burger King or McDonald's?
I did. There's a Popeyes by my work that I would go to. But the problem is, I don't know when they're open. I think I've told you about this location. They open when they feel like it.
Yeah.
And I've seen people go into the drive-thru and then leave. Sometimes they're open, sometimes they're not. I went up to the drive-thru and I waited. And I'm like, "Hello? Anybody there?" No response. So, maybe it's broken because there were like 2 cars in front of me. So I pull up to the window and there's somebody who looks out the window, sees me, and then ducks down so I couldn't see them anymore. So they weren't open. I tried going there another time. Same thing. They just weren't open it was like 11 or 12 in the afternoon. And I went on Google, and apparently I'm not the only one that has that kind of problem. The Google reviews for that location is absolutely horrible. And were you the one that was telling me that you went to a Popeyes and the staff were just talking to each other and not ringing?
That was the Popeyes near our old place, and we just stopped. We couldn't do it.
I stopped going to Popeyes. I want their chicken sandwich, but whatever.
They clearly have a customer service issue. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with Popeyes. Yeah. Anyway, that's why I go to Taco Bell.
Speaking of Taco Bell, now, ladies and gentlemen, Sean told me that the best hot sauce he ever had was you can buy Taco Bell sauce in a bottle at the grocery store.
Oh, God damn it. Now I'm going to be held up and blamed for something. Watch this.
So, no. So, whenever I go to Taco Bell, I like their hot sauce, too. Specifically, the Fire. That's my absolute favorite.
Me, too. Yeah.
I would grab, when you could go into a Taco Bell, I'd grab a handful of the Fire and just throw it into my bag, and I would have little packets for, a month or two. And Well, now when you go to Taco Bell and you tell them you want sauce, they give you like 2. You could order like 10 things. Not that I'm eating 10 things because I'm buying for a group of people, but they would still. I'll have a lot of fire sauce. They would give me 2 or 3. It's ridiculous. So you told me about, you can buy it at the grocery store. So I started looking, and I could find mild and hot. Now I don't like either. They're okay, but I like the fire. And I remember asking you, do they have fire? Because I can't find it.
They do.
And you said, yeah, they absolutely do. But you told me that for whatever reason, it's very limited, and whenever it goes in stock in the stores, it just disappears, gets sold. So for months and months and months, I don't know how far back this is, I've been looking for fire. I even went on Amazon thinking, Amazon has a grocery store. Mm-mm. I went on there, and you can buy fire Taco Bell, the bottle, for like either $12 or $15 a bottle. Now, it's $1.49 at the grocery store. You can pay $12, and some people gave it like 1-star reviews because it's in a glass bottle, and the people were shipping them without any packaging, so they got a broken bottle of fire sauce in their box or their package. What the hell? I'm not spending $12 for this. Well, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was at Walmart. No, was it? Yeah, Walmart, and they had 3 bottles of fire. I took all 3. And I'm like, great, I finally scored. And I was going to tell you, and I forgot. But then I went to Kroger a couple of days ago. And
wait, I'm going to pause your conversation. It's these little things that make middle-aged people happy. I got this at Walmart.
Yes.
Thank God it was the last thing. Oh, my God.
It was the last 3, and I
middle-aged
picked them up
people problems. Middle-aged white men problems right here.
Right. So I went to Kroger, and they had like 10 bottles of the fire. Well, I was feeling generous. I'm like, there's no way in hell I would ever want to buy 10 bottles of this shit. So I just bought another bottle. So now I have like 4 or 3.5 bottles now of fire. I'm so happy.
Well, I put it on my breakfast tacos. I love it. I think it's...
Oh, yeah.
I really, truly... I know that there's people that are not going to agree with this, but I truly think that Taco Bell sauce is tastier than your average salsa in a Mexican restaurant. And I know that there's Mexican people listening to this. There's something about it. And one time I was listening to This American Life, and they were talking to Mexican expats that used to live in the USA. And they're like, one thing I really miss is Taco Bell, even though they're Mexican. Even though Taco Bell's like a travesty to Mexican food. But they still liked it, Yeah. I love
it. Really some of the worst food ever.
No, it's not. It's not.
Their tacos are substandard at best, but the hot sauce is what sells it. I'm sorry.
The hot sauce is beautiful.
Or the fire sauce.
The thing about the tacos is that they're not, when I'm on the keto, I've got my special low-carb tortillas. I bring the tacos back home. I put 2 tacos on a tortilla and the low-carb tortilla and eat that, and that's a really good taco compared to what they serve, which is like 1/3 of the tortilla. If you really eat the substance of that taco, a lot of it is just tortilla. But anyway, I love Taco Bell. I'm not going to say... I'm really mad that they got rid of their Mexican pizzas, though, because I love the Mexican
pizzas. Yes. Oh, my God. Those were so bad for you, but they were so bad they were good.
Oh, man.
Before you started bringing the tacos back, did you eat crunchy shell tacos?
I only eat soft shell tacos.
Oh, okay. Because one of the things I absolutely hated from Taco Bell, and we'll go on from Murder, She Wrote after this, please, is when you buy a crunchy taco and you open it, you get your taco, let's say you get the drive-thru, get it home, and it's broken.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Like taking a mallet to it when they throw it in the bag?
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. And I remember Tom, when we were first dating, I ordered a Mexican pizza, and he fucking brought the bag in from the drive-thru, and he tilted it sideways. I'm like, don't do that! You can't do that with Mexican pizza! Well, I wasn't talked to for like a day after that. Anyway.
Okay. How dare you.
Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote. Update! Okay, so we're going to talk about Obituary for a Dead Anchor from 1986. This is from season 3. And Steve, I'm so happy to report that this is an episode set in Cabot Cove. Are you happy now? Can you shut the fuck
ecstatic.
up?
God, it's so aggressive, so violent.
I mean, we don't have the usual... well, no, we do have the usual people starring in this episode, like Amos Tupper and Mayor Sam Booth.
Is this our first Sheriff Tupper review?
Yeah.
He's in the episode?
I hear you going through papers. Are you trying to fight? You're like, let me see here. What are you, like a wizard with his spell book? What are you trying to find?
My notes. I take notes.
Okay, but
sir.
The thing is,
sir,
before you start
notes.
Before you start the podcast,
because I think of other things. You say something random, and then it causes me to think of something else, and I'm like, "Ooh, I want to bring that up later." So I'm just writing in notes.
Okay.
I'm
I don't
updating
take notes during the podcast. I take them on. Anyway, fuck it.
Well, there's been so many times where I say, "Oh, when we get to that later in the episode, I'll bring that back up." I have a feeling I never bring those things back up, so I gotta write that down.
Okay. All right, Obituary for a Dead Anchor. The Dead Anchor is... I hate you so much. I hate you so much. The Dead Anchor in this case is a gentleman named Kevin Keats, who is immediately punchable as soon as you see him on the screen.
Yeah. Now, he belongs to a new, I guess like a 60 Minutes kind of news program called Scrutiny.
I hate him so much. I really hate this person. He is akin to... do you remember back when we were doing the Columbo podcast, the George Hamilton character?
Yes, where he played the Murder, She Wrote... Unsolved Mysteries kind of...
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't Unsolved Mysteries. It was the guy who, when kids were abducted, his kid was abducted, and then he did a manhunt show.
Adam Walsh was the kid, and the
Walsh.
dad
that's right.
Was maybe John Walsh, but I may be wrong.
John Walsh. Yeah. You're right. That's right.
So, Kevin Keats is an asshole. He is a newscaster, if you will. Mm-hmm. And he is broadcasting news reportedly about a gentleman named Ronald Ross, who is supposed to be, dealing in drugs. This is all... That's a red herring, by the way. Don't worry about that, because it's not really brought up later on, although it's in the beginning.
It just occurred to me. Do you realize? So the person he's interviewing, who's a drug lord, Ronald Ross. Later in the episode, someone tells Kevin Keats that because he's trying to go into hiding, and his girlfriend tells him, "You can't go into hiding. Your face is more recognizable than Ronald McDonald." There's a lot of Ronalds in here. That's awfully weird. I just thought of that.
I remember that, and I thought that was a terrible line. I think that...
Why so many Ronalds?
Yeah.
Was someone eating on a McDonald's diet when they wrote this episode?
Yeah. I'd rather be like, "Oh, your face is more recognizable than Mayor McCheese." But I don't think... no.
Do you ever think they would ever eat themselves? I think Family Guy did something on that, but it'd be so tempting. It's like, I taste so good. No.
So dumb. Although right now I'd love to have McDonald's. But anyway, okay. No, we went for Chinese.
Is this the fast food podcast?
No. We did that last time with the China buffet. We actually went for a decent Chinese lunch.
No, we're not talking about food. We're not. I'm sorry.
It was horrible.
The McDonald's thing.
This restaurant was horrible. Anyway, okay.
Okay, so the name of the news report was it Profile of an Art Lover, because Ronald Ross loves art. He has a nice collection, and so what he thought would be kind of a fluff piece about his art collecting turned out that Kevin Keats drilled him about his buying cocaine and then selling it. So we where am I going with this? So we're kind of watching.
That's it. That's all there is.
So we're seeing it from the point of view because Ronald Ross is watching this and he's like, "Oh, he totally screwed me," and basically he turns off the TV and says, "You're a dead man."
Yeah,
so we know,
and then nothing comes of that later on.
Maybe not.
It does, but nothing comes of it. But then we cut to Jessica. Jessica Fletcher is on the beach talking with. I'm going to put my glasses on again. She's strolling on the beach with Paula Roman, who is a reporter on the show that Kevin Keats is on. And Paula's like, "Oh yeah, I can do a piece about you in Cabot Cove. It would be really great." And Jessica's like, she's yeah,
she's a big fan of JB. So
yeah,
but Jessica's basically like, "Well, no, I don't think so. I've seen the kind of I saw the kind of news that Keats does," and she's like, "Oh no." Paula says, "No, I'm going to do the interview. It's not that kind of interview. I'm a big fan." So she convinces Jessica to allow her because Jessica's not really sure she wants to do this interview, and then she even says something to the effect that she'll go to the city, not the council, but the
the town council,
town council, and have them vote on it. If they're all for it, then she'll do it. But she's not really wanting to do this, and that does come into play later.
Yeah, and then we're introduced to... this is, by the way, an episode based mainly in Cabot Cove. So we have Cabot Cove players in it. We have Mayor Sam Booth.
Yes,
who
like him.
I don't know, but I'm trying to figure out that I don't think the mayor from The Simpsons is based on him. I always thought the mayor from The Simpsons was based on Ted Kennedy.
Right.
But this guy is totally the mayor from Simpsons. I just, it's all I can think of. Like, he's got the whole accent and all that. And, of course, we have Amos Tupper, played by Tom Bosworth. Former dad from Happy Days. He's the sheriff.
Father Ted. Not Father Ted. Father... He did a murder mystery series as a priest, right?
Yeah. Father Amos? Father Dowling Mysteries.
That's it.
Yeah.
And there's another person. I don't know if she's a regular, and I was kind of hoping you would explain it to me if so. Yes. But we were introduced to. She's the reporter for the Society of, or she's society editor for the Cabot Cove Gazette, Mrs. Polsby.
I don't know that.
Please tell me she's a regular, because I hate her and I want to see her again.
I don't know. But she's really overdressed for somebody in Cabot Cove. Like, totally overdressed. Like, are you going to the prom, ma'am? Ma'am!
Because, as you can imagine, in the show, there's a murder in Cabot Cove. So she wants to be the lead reporter. Because all these news stations send their reporters and camera guys and all that to get the scoop. And she's like, no, this is my story. And I loved her attitude. Yeah. Like I said, I hated her, but I loved her at the same time.
I'd like to think that she will appear again, but I don't want to, put that in stone. But Kevin has a number of colleagues, and I wrote them all down as producers, but they're not producers. We have Paula Roman, who is the person that wants to do a story in Cabot Cove. We have Richard Abbott, who is a producer, TV producer. We have Doug Hellman, who is a TV producer. I don't know. We don't really go into these.
I didn't understand much. Yeah, I didn't understand the kind of the hierarchy in that at all. But
I didn't either. It's okay. Now we didn't need to really.
And then we have Nick. What was Nick's last name?
Nick Brody, who is a director.
Right.
Yeah, he is on the scene director, and he's actually he was very well cast because the actor has a very Walter Cronkite thing about him. He's like, I'm here, I'm a reporter, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He was a good character.
Yeah, and this Scrutiny show, revolves around, Keats, Nick, and Paula. So they're the three main anchors of this program. So they're the ones that we're going to see a lot of. But once the city council gives approval, we jump to a scene where Jessica is shopping. Now, in the process, Cabot Cove is cleaning up the town because they got a news crew coming. They want to look the best. But we're introduced to, and I guess the actor who played Seth is, I don't know, not available for this episode because we're introduced to a new doctor, Dr. Wiley Graham.
Yeah, young guy.
And he's waiting outside. Is waiting outside the blouse barn for Jessica to come out with some new clothes that she's going to wear during the interview. What's so funny?
You said blouse barn from Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek, that's from Schitt's Creek, right? You still know Schitt's Creek. Yeah. Do you ever, when I saw that it was Dr. Wiley Graham, I'm like, okay, Seth Haslett isn't available. Do you ever go to the doctor and your doctor is on vacation, so you get the other doctor and you're like, I don't think I'm getting as much good care from this doctor, even though he's perfectly responsible. It's like I don't really, do you ever have that?
Yeah, like sometimes if your doctor decides that he's got to take a vacation all of a sudden, and so they reschedule you unexpectedly with someone else. Yeah,
Dr. Nobody from who's 83 years old, and
so that worked out for me one time. There was one guy I got as a kind of a cover, and he was so good that I switched to him.
Really?
Yeah. This was years and years back, but
okay.
I
so
do
I
remember
got to tell a story. No, wait. I'm going to tell a story.
Shit.
So, back in the day, I used to have allergy shots once a week or once every 2 weeks. I can't remember. And I would take.
You had to go to the doctor for that?
Yeah, and I would take my bike to the doctor's office, and he would give me a shot.
Your bike?
Well, one time, my doctor was on vacation or he was out, so I had to go to a different doctor. And it was an old man. It was an old German man. It was Dr.
My little piggy.
No, he's no longer with us. His daughter was a doctor, too. Doctor, I don't remember what his name was, but, he was he was German. He was German like he was from Germany. Like, this man was born in Germany. And,
usually when you say someone is German, you kind of get that, yeah.
Yeah. And, he said to his assistant, the lady, the nurse or whatever, I can't believe it. These people let their kids just leave the house and go wherever they want. But, dude, this is the 80s or the 90s. Just relax. Don't be an old German dude. He's dead now. Oh, no, his name was Dr. Kraus. That's right.
I love it.
His daughter was also a doctor who operated on me later on my neck.
She operated on you?
Yeah, she was a plastic surgeon, and I had a problem with my neck, and she operated on that. I had a sinus cleft, something or other. Ask me when I'm not recording this. But yeah, I had a thing that on my neck that it would ooze out pus, and that had to be operated.
Gross!
On. Yeah, it was really gross. It was.
I'm glad I already ate tonight. Okay, where were we? So Dr. Graham or Wiley, he's not too happy about all the ramping up for the show. Everybody's painting their fences and all this. We find out that he has replaced Dr. Seth because when Seth found out, I mean, this is the story behind why he's not in the episode, but that when he found out that the news crew was coming, he decided to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Which makes me suspect he has some kind of criminal background.
Steve, I don't...
Why else? He was probably I'm thinking of the doctor in the Agatha Christie film we watched, 12 Little Indians. I know that's
10 Little Indians, not 12 Little Indians.
Oh, whatever. And you had a doctor who had disappeared. What was the doctor? He had accidentally killed somebody.
Yeah,
right?
Operating drunk. Yeah, because he was a drunk.
That's what it was. Right. He still was. But anyways, I have a feeling that's probably what happened to Seth. I bet there was some malpractice going on, He had to get out of wherever he was practicing. He was probably from the West Coast, and so he found a nice little town in Cabot Cove, but he cannot be seen. Huh?
Complete nonsense. I won't have it. I won't have it. I think that William Wyndon just had some, I don't know, gastric bypass surgery or something, so he couldn't make this episode. That's all there is to it. Or, oh, whoops, so we got to change this out.
I'm not talking about the actor. I'm not talking about the actor. I'm just saying the legitimate reason why Seth was not in this story.
You do realize that
that's how I headcanon. That's how I headcanon this.
It's a fiction. Okay. It's a fictional thing. Anyway,
right.
Jess.
So Mayor Sam Booth, I like him. I'm guessing he's going to be a regular.
Yeah, he will appear again.
And he's all excited.
I mean, if you want to overemphasize a main accent, this is your character.
He's great. I know I recognize him from something else though. I just don't know what it is.
I tried
something from the 80s.
Yeah, I looked him up. I feel like he would be a supporting actor from the 80s, maybe in something. What's that Dan Aykroyd John Candy movie where they go on vacation? I feel like he would be in something like that. He'd be a fisherman. Do you remember that movie that I'm talking about? The Great Outdoors.
Yeah, Great Outdoors.
I love that movie. I want to see that movie again. Maybe later tonight.
That's funny. That's the time where John Candy wants to grill some hot dogs, and Dan Aykroyd, he's kind of like the rich snobby relative brother-in-law.
Yes.
And he brought lobster tails. He goes, "Don't eat that. Those are, you know what they make those out of? Lips and assholes." And then later the raccoons at night, the raccoons are going through the trash and they're eating the shells, the lobster tail shells. One of them says, "Ooh, I found some hot dogs." And the other raccoon, by the way, this is all captioned. We don't hear the raccoons talk. You just hear them chattering. It's captioned for us. And it says, "Don't eat those. Those are lips and assholes."
I literally...
To this day...
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I saw that movie in the theater when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Wow. The one thing I remember, there's two things I remember from the movie. They show up at this beautiful cabin, and then a day later, another family shows up, and it turns out that they got the wrong house, and the people that own it showed up.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Summer Rental?
Oh, wait. No, you're right. Shit. Okay, another scene where they go to a restaurant where there's 110-year-old man, and he's going to be there, and that's his birthday, but he died on the way there, so they just propped him up. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that. No, I have to
I'm just
rewatch it. I just remember the lips and assholes.
All right, so
but my wife and I, whenever we buy hot dogs, we're like, "Would you like some lips and assholes for lunch?" So.
See, I don't buy the hot dogs. I buy the proper sausages. Yeah, I don't
casings.
Yeah, and they're casings, and they're intestinal casings. They're the intestinals. I'm sorry. Continue with your thing, Steve. I'm sorry
Mayor
I interrupted
Booth
your
is
podcast.
excited. Booth is excited. He's like, "This is going to bring in business," kind of like the mayor from Jaws. He's like, we're going to have people coming in. It's going to, it's going to make us money. So he's excited. He's really excited. He wants to do something special, but Jessica kind of poo-poos that idea. But anyways, they turn the corner as Dr. Graham and Jessica are continuing their walk and their talk. And they turn the corner, and we see that the camera crew has now descended onto Jessica's flower bed and is ruining her front yard.
That's completely unacceptable.
That is.
It is.
I would bill the production company, but
yeah,
that's where we find out that Kevin Keats is going to be doing the interview or that's when Jessica finds out, and that Paula is not going to be there. She's got another assignment, and of course Jessica's not too happy about that. And he's a jerk right off the bat, too.
Yeah, he's a complete asshole. I hate this guy. This guy, he is not the victim. He is not the, but he should be a victim. Meanwhile, Amos Tupper is driving. He sees a guy get out of a helicopter and get in a limousine, and all we know is it's a bald guy, and that's it.
Well, we do see him earlier. So on that episode where Keats is interviewing Ronald Ross, he does have another guy that's on screen with him, and we find out that's his heavy or his enforcer.
Yeah.
And so that's the guy who gets out of the helicopter. Which, I mean, if Ronald Ross was going to send somebody to kill Keats, this is the guy. This is going to be the person who's going to do it. So we're already starting to raise flags. Who might be the killer? Yeah. So that's one of the first.
So Kevin Keats is interviewing J.B. Fletcher, or Jessica as we know her, and he says at some point in the interview, and this is being filmed by a camera crew, he says, "How do you feel being the smartest person?" I don't know what he says exactly, but he says something along the lines of, "How do you feel being the smartest person in this basically a town full of pumpkins?" And I'm like, that's rude, number one.
Right.
Number two, you've never been to Tennessee or Texas. Welcome to, whatever. This is not the small town you should be making fun of, sir. But she takes great offense at that. And she says, well, I feel welcome here. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And then as if to, terminate everything she said, Amos Tupper comes up and says, I just saw this man. Wait, I'm sorry. It's not.
I saw a whirly bird.
Yeah, he's just.
I
can't say. I can't do it. But he just sort of discredits her, running up and saying, "I just saw a man. He's bald and he's down by the river." I don't know what does he say, Steve? I can't remember.
Well, I don't know verbatim what he said, but
I was trusting on you, Steve. I was trusting on you.
Well, yeah. So he hears the description from Amos, and that Keats does, and he concerns him. He basically wants it in the interview right there, and he tells Amos, he's like, "Hey, this guy's bad news. I need to get out of here." And so he convinces Amos to rent him a boat, and they have it ready first thing tomorrow morning.
That is the worst thing.
I thought that was a little odd.
Yeah.
Do you think Amos was just starstruck? Like, why would he do that? I'd be like, well, go down to the pier. You can go. You've got probably a runner or a secretary, somebody that can do that for you.
I think that if Amos didn't already appear in 17 episodes of Murder, She Wrote, I'd be like, well, okay, this is suspect number one right here. But obviously, he's not the murderer. Yeah. But yeah, Amos, he basically just sort of confirms what Kevin said about, these dumb people in their rural towns. By the way, don't judge people living in rural towns. In my business, I've traveled all over the state of Texas, and a lot of times, folks in rural towns are not what you would expect. You get a lot of people that you would expect to be in rural towns, like, I'll change your tire for you if you come over, and they're going to eat you. But there's other. You ever see this, Steve?
I've never experienced being threatened to be eaten.
All right. Well, I always feel like I'm going to be eaten because I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2 and 3
eat the
and all the
barbecue
rest
at those locations. Don't eat the barbecue.
But it's so delicious, Steve. Barbecue is delicious wherever you go to in Texas. Anyway. Maybe we should talk about the inn. The inn and Mr. Fish.
Yes.
I didn't catch his first
Is he a recurring character? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, yeah, Keats goes back to his hotel or inn or whatever, B&B. And, Mr. Fish is really kind of pushing a certain agenda. So we find out he owns the place, but he only shows up when he knows that there's going to be someone famous there. Mm. And the phone rings. There's a call for Keats, and he says as he hands him the phone, he goes, this inn was featured in National Geographic and photographs like $1 million.
What? Yeah,
bring your people over.
What the fuck does that mean?
Right. And so Keats looks at him like, shut the fuck up.
By the way, nowadays, if it's featured in National Geographic, it's probably haunted. Because that's what they have in the National Geographic channel now. It's haunted. Which means I want to stay there. I'd love to stay there. But we find out that there's another guy here. It's Richard Abbott, who is staying there too, I think. So we have...
Oh, is that Doug Hellman?
No, Doug Hellman does not show up. He's in the beginning when they're having a meeting, but Richard Abbott is the other nondescript white guy that works with Kevin.
Oh, okay.
So Kevin...
Well...
Kevin goes on a boat.
Well, no, whoa. You are missing large...
No, I'm not. No.
Portions of
go
plot
ahead,
here.
Go ahead.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the person on the other line when Kevin picks up the phone, it's his soon-to-be ex-wife. They have had a falling out, and all he says out loud, and this is what Fish hears, is that, don't you threaten me. So now we've got another suspect, which is his estranged wife. And then that's when Doug Hellman comes in, the producer.
No, it's Richard Abbott.
So all of a sudden he showed... Huh?
It's Richard Abbott.
What?
I think.
No. Richard Abbott is the other guy. No, it's Doug Hellman.
Okay. All right, I'll go with that. Whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It make any difference.
Well, he shows up and he basically gives him the business. They get into a tiny argument, and then Keats walks off. But it's the next morning. Keats meets Amos at the dock, and there's a boat rental he's got prepped for him. And just as he's getting ready to leave, we find out that Amos had put down a $100 deposit. Now, in 1985 money, I don't know how much that is, but it's $100 is a substantial amount of money now. But as he turns around, as the boat leaves, he's asking for his $100, which I thought was a bit rude.
Yeah, he's a little bit... Well, I don't blame him. Whatever.
I mean, he probably doesn't make that much money. He's the sheriff of
By the way, $100 in 1986 is $2,000 in 20...
Really?
I'm just making it up. I don't know.
Oh, shut up.
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
So that's when Amos turns around. He sees the bald guy, and he runs off. He tells him this halt, stay right there, and he runs off.
Yeah,
as he turns around,
really
and look at the boat,
really good sheriff.
Yeah, the boat explodes with Keats on board, or so we think. So Keats is dead.
Dead
with a capital D, a capital E.
We're putting
a lowercase a.
And Joan makes the story, and she cries because she's been having an affair with Kevin Keats. All right,
which we don't know. That's something Jessica kind of pulls out.
Yeah.
She is able to get that information from her. But it's funny because all these reporters are now descending upon Cabot Cove. They all want the scoop. There's this great news reporter that has, died on an explosion. I mean, that's not natural.
No, it ain't right. It ain't right.
And Fish is like, all these people are... Yep, it ain't right. All these people are coming in, and Fish is... You can hear him say something like, National Geographic was here, and they say that this place photographs like $1 million. And he's really pushing it. The guy's dead, and he's still pushing it. So I think he even said... No, he said Keats said that. Oh, it's kind of slimy.
Yeah, Fish is slimy. He's slimy. He's not the murderer. He's not a key player in this mystery, but he runs the end, and he's milking this for all it's worth. And I don't know if we'll see Fish again. I don't know. I don't remember what his first name is, but the folks in the TV show, they have their own little headquarters there at the hotel. And
they rented or at least took the dining room over.
Yeah, headed by Nick. Yeah. Nick, by the way, is like sort of like a what's that? Who was that TV? Walter. Help me, Steve. Walter. He died like two or 3 years ago. Walter
is a reporter.
Yeah, come on. I'm not going to go without this. Walter Mandrake, Walter Mondale. No, that's the vice president.
No, definitely not that.
Who's the reporter that died 2 or 3? Walter Fuck.
No.
Walter Mondale. Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite.
No, he died years ago.
Yeah, he died maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. He's an old man. I remember him. Was it the JFK assassination that he reported on?
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah.
But Nick is very much like Walter Cronkite. Like he's just this older man. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the story right now.
And I think Angela even references him like he's like what's she call him? Like you're like a national institution.
Angela? Did you say Angela?
Yeah, Jessica. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. I think you're getting too much into the story. You're calling the characters by their real names. We're going to have to call a doctor. Anyway, go ahead. What
Dr. Seth, yeah.
No, he's not in this.
Oh, but that's, so Nick is upset because he's kind of taken over as producer there at that location. And he's been trying to call Doug Hellman. And no one is picking up. Even the other guy, the Robert guy, is not picking up. And he says, "Oh, it's probably because he's climbing mountains somewhere," which is a clue.
Is it really?
Do you know that?
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
I think so.
Okay, no, I'll go.
You don't think that's a clue? It gives. It's something that Jessica picks up on.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay. So that's when we find out that. Actually, Keats and Paula, because Paula was not a very convincing liar. When Jessica found out that she said she had arrived later that morning, and Jessica, I think, even said something like, "I know the schedules, the flight schedules better than anyone from all my travels, and there's no morning. So you came the night before." So that's how she was able to deduce that Keats and Paula were doing the dirty.
Yeah, they were shacking up. I'll just cut through all the red tape. They were fucking, readers.
Wow.
Paula and the dead man were fucking. What I can't stand is that, we have the reporters descending on the bed and breakfast, descending on Mr. Fish, and I think it was a little bit too much represented here. But because we also have the lady from the Cabot Cove, whatever. She's there with her hat and her Sunday best. Does this lady wear her Sunday best everywhere? She wears it everywhere. Anyway, she's there. She's trying to ask questions, but
probably
nevertheless, Mayor Seth shows up. Was it Mayor Seth? What's his name?
No,
Mayor Sambu.
Oh shit.
He shows up, and he's in disguise with sunglasses, and he grabs Jessica, and he's like...
Whoa, no, wait, hold on, let's
I'm not going ahead of the story.
You are jumping.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Hold on, so this is when the news...
You go with the story. You go. I'll just listen.
All right, so all the news reporters, like I said, descend onto Cabot Cove.
That's what I already said.
And we even get to see... hold on, I got something to add to that.
Okay.
Jeez, good Lord.
Christ almighty. Take a biscuit.
But I like when one of the news reporters...
Okay.
Oh, my God.
No, go. Go with your story.
So. Are you done?
I'm done.
So... the news reports I really enjoyed because they said something to the effect that, we don't know how Keats died, but he was blown to bits in a jerkwater village where even the crickets die of boredom. I don't know, I thought that was funny.
Who said that?
Okay, well, I watched the episode where there's a news reporter reporting on Keats' death. You don't remember that?
No, I remember that, yeah. But I don't remember what he said.
Uh-huh.
Well, sir. Okay. Okay, Mister, I watched the episode twice. Okay, I'll take whatever. I'm just, you know what?
So
You know
we
what?
found
You
out
just-
at this point.
You just
What?
the episode better. So. Oh, I'm gonna sit over here.
What?
No, nothing. I'm just gonna sit over here.
Okay, you sit in the corner.
Bye.
So Mayor Booth is getting pissy because they're all insulting him and Sheriff Tupper and how kind of these yokel locals didn't really do a good job. And Booth is pissed, and he even tells. This is where he dresses up in his fishing gear and walks through the building or through the bed and breakfast with his sunglasses on.
Wait.
Incognito.
Hello. Interjecting.
Yeah. What? Okay. What?
So he's dressed up in fishing gear, sunglasses, and a hat with fishing tackle on it. I don't know if you're a fisherman, by the way. You don't wear a hat with the fishing tackle on it. You don't want to pick your fishing tackle off your hat. It's in your box already. It's a stupid disguise.
Well, I would think you would catch your finger on a hook or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's dangerous. My dad one time. Oh shit. My dad and his friends, they were out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, and my one of his friends got a fishing hook embedded in his finger, and it was really serious. And they actually had to cut his finger to get the fishing hook out.
Oh my God!
Very scary. Very scary. You don't want that when you're out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota. You don't want that. You don't want
it's not
that.
the cleanest place too. You got fish guts and smelly scales and stuff.
Not to mention Sasquatch. Just saying, putting that out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Continue
I've got
with your
Sasquatch stories for you, but we'll save that for next time.
I love the Sasquatch stories.
Okay, where were we? Oh, okay. So Mayor Booth basically tells Jessica, it's your mess. You clean it up. He's gone from excited to getting all the publicity that was going to be involved to now hating it and wanting everybody to leave. And now it's all Jessica's fault. And Jessica tries to tell him, hey, this was agreed upon. This wasn't my idea. And he's not having any of it. She needs to fix it. So, yeah.
But
Mayor Booth kind of jumps off the
Amos Tupper sees a clue. He sees that piece of television where it's what's the guy's name? I gotta put my glasses on. Ronald Ross. They sees him, and he sees that guy blanking out the camera. He's like, "Hey, that's that bald guy I saw earlier." I'm trying to do the accent. I'm not doing it very well. I gotta catch that guy. Whatever. But then Jessica talks to the victim's estranged wife. She hates him. Blah 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 blah. She's basically a red herring. Don't worry about her.
Yeah. Well, she is. She's another suspect because she apparently caught. I think she was going to surprise Kevin Keats, and that's when she saw he and Paula, going into a hotel room together. Yeah. So she basically she's not happy, and her motive is, of course, that she's going to want the money. She's going to want either alimony or if he's dead, she gets all of it. I don't know.
Which I'm going to label as the most obvious motive in the world, which means that she's not the murderer, which she isn't. Right. Whatever. And I love that.
So yeah,
Steve, stay in your lane.
What?
Jessica meets her in some honky tonk bar in Maine.
Yes.
I didn't figure out where they were, but there was a lot of country music playing, and I'm like, what is this, Texas? Because there's country music playing. You've got people dressed for Monday, or I dare say Sunday service, sitting around drinking wine and stuff. But do you see what I'm talking about, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I noticed in that scene?
What?
There was a pinball machine in the background. Did you see the pinball machine?
No, I didn't see the pinball machine, Steve.
So, for all you pinball aficionados like myself, that was a 1985 Sorcerer pinball by from Williams. Now that was their you probably know this, but it's their System 9 solid state pinball, which that was kind of a new thing back then. But it was made by one of my favorite pinball game creators. His name was Mark Ritchie. He makes a lot of really cool... He's still around, still making pinballs, actually. But you already knew that, I'm sure.
Are you done?
Hello?
Can I keep on going on?
That was Pinball Talk. What do you... And one of my favorite Columbos is the... was that Irish guy? The
No, it's not one of your favorite Columbos.
I liked it because... but it has all those wonderful pinball machines in there. Don't you remember?
It has... No, Steve, no.
What?
It has pinball machines for like 30 seconds in an hour and a half episode. You can't...
He and Columbo play each other, which makes no sense, but... yeah.
Whatever. Okay, let's talk about toes. So the doctor calls up Jessica and he's like, "Hey, ask the wife, how many toes did her husband have?" And she's like, "Well, he had 10. Turns out the dead man had 8 toes. So it can't be Kevin Keats."
So yeah, we find out that Dr. Graham has a toe fetish. What?
No, you go ahead with whatever you want.
I don't know where I was going with that. All right, I'll take that on my notes for next time.
No, continue, sir.
Okay, so that means that the body is not Keats. It is somebody else. So, well, one, we don't know who the other person is, but where is Keats? That becomes the question. And then we get a flash to where Keats is. Now, he's basically having a typical Saturday morning Sean style. He is sitting in front of a TV with a bag of chips and a rum and coke.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Don't say Sean style. You know what? Everybody loves watching TV with a drink and a bag of chips. And if you want to do that, that's okay with me.
Okay. We'll put on a Murder, She Wrote and watch.
Oh man! Everything this man did, like
Coke.
Just sitting in a whatever hotel room, and he's sipping his Diet Coke. He's eating his chips right out of the bag. Like, this is 1980s. Let's make this person lazy. Anyway, keep on going.
I mean, I felt, you know, when you're young, you can do that. You can eat a bag of chips and be okay the next day. I feel like at my age, if I eat a bag of chips, I am going to, all that salt is probably going to kill me.
Yeah.
But two, I'd probably feel like I gained 2 pounds. Like I
me
would
too.
feel it just sitting. I would just have the rum and coke. Quite honest.
I agree.
You can have the chips. I'll have
I
the rum
agree.
and coke.
But he didn't eat the whole bag of chips. I think he was probably more judicious in his eating of the chips. Where he was one of these rare humans who just ate like maybe 10 chips and then put the bag away for later. I don't know what kind of monsters do that, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Okay. Bugles.
So this is
Bugles.
Oh yeah, I like Bugles.
Oh,
I like those better than Fritos. Fritos are too salty.
Bugles are the best chips, I think. And not only that, but
really,
when you were a kid,
That's
you
a
can
corn
put them
chip.
on your fingers and like, I've got witches'
I
fingers.
still do that. What I mean, kid, I still do that.
Okay, well, I'm not going to judge, Steve.
And I pretend I'm like the alien from the movies.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so this is when Richard Abbott, the other producer, comes in, and Nick tells him, like, "Hey, I'm glad you made it, but I honestly thought you were probably the killer." And we find out that Doug has gone missing, Doug Hellman. And that's when we find out from Jessica, her assumption is that, well, you said earlier that he likes to go mountain climbing, or probably climbing a mountain. Well, this body is missing 2 toes from frostbite, and so it's Doug. I know it's kind of a leap, but they now agree that it's Doug Hellman. That was the body that was found.
Yeah, just because he was missing 3 toes. Also, it was a leap because last episode when I read the synopsis of this, it said that he faked his own murder. So, yeah. And
what else happens? Oh, so Richard Abbott tells me, like, "Oh my God, this is great. We've got a story. Like the studio's building up a bunch of commercials. This is going to be the biggest thing since Al Capone's, secret vault or whatever.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
Better than the secret of. Yeah.
Wait, we have to pause it there. Al Capone's vaults. For those of you that don't remember, for the readers that don't remember, back in the 90s, Geraldo Rivera.
No. I looked this up. 1986.
1986? That was.
Yeah.
I said back in the 90s.
I know that's not the 90s.
1996 is in the 90s.
1986.
Oh, 86. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in 1986, Geraldo Rivera thought he was big shit.
Yeah.
And so he went in the underground in Chicago, and he thought that he was going to break open Al Capone's vaults underground.
Secret vaults. Like it was all concreted in and stuff. I mean, it was like a bunker almost.
Yeah. So he did that, and lo and behold, he found nothing.
Zip.
Yeah. It's okay. But Geraldo Rivera later returned on episodes of The Apprentice. But before that, he also exposed a bit about mental health and the mental health homes. And
oh, really?
How they treat children. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I think he was on Inside Edition. So his kind of reporting is more like a tabloid TV thing.
Yeah.
That was my impression. And I remember watching. It's funny because I really didn't have an interest in Al Capone, being from Texas. I mean, of course I knew of him, but like I didn't. It wasn't like really on my radar. But I remember watching that. It was such a big, sensational program. It was going to be live, by the way. So none of it was going to be pre-recorded. It was all streaming live. Yeah. And I remember when they were like, Carl was like, "Okay, we're getting into the first, concrete wall. We just blew it up, and we're looking through it. Okay, we didn't find anything. Commercial break. Come back. Okay, we came across another concrete wall. And we're gonna." Well, by the end, it was like a 3-hour program.
Yeah, it was all bullshit. They did another one. They did another one where it was the Titanic, and this is before the Titanic movie came out in '97, where it was Telly Savalas talking about people going down and finding valuables and stuff, and it was just a joke. It was stupid. Stupid.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I thought there was like maritime law where you leave boats alone because it's basically a burial site. Right?
Maybe I don't know, Steve. I don't know. I'm not.
I do remember Geraldo. He had his own show. He was like the who was the name of the white-haired guy before Oprah became so popular?
Phil Donahue.
Phil Donahue. He had like a Phil Donahue show.
No, these guys also Geraldo. I'm not going to say Phil. I like Phil Donahue. I think Phil Donahue has values and virtues. But Geraldo also was a hand in the Satanic Panic of the 1980s, where
really,
if you played Dungeons and Dragons, my mom and dad stopped me and said, "Hey, you're playing with these fantasy books, the fighting fantasy books, and you can't play with that because it has to do with Satan." And
well, I can understand that because D&D, even I have a hard time today kind of understanding how it works. So for parents back in the 80s, you'd be like, "What the hell is this shit? What is this?" And then you would look at the books, and by the way, the books, they were always hardbound, and they look so kick-ass. I mean, it looked like a heavy metal.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
Cover.
They're very expensive. They
look so cool. You had devils and stuff, and picking up dead people. And, oh man, it was really, really cool.
So
but I could see as a parent not knowing, and then hearing the news, they probably like, holy shit, what is this? And it is, like I said, I know I played a few games of D&D when I was a kid, but I didn't know what was going on. And to this day, I still don't know how to play.
No, D&D is so cool. D&D is awesome. I'm not going to say you would enjoy it, Steve, but I've played it, and it has nothing to do with Satanism. And for people,
it's all fantasy.
Yeah, it's all fantasy, and for people in the 80s to jump to that conclusion is just terrible. I mean, maybe you'll fight a devil or whatever, but it was ridiculous.
Well,
and people lost their jobs based on that fear.
Really?
But yeah,
they lost their jobs.
Yeah. There was a couple, I think it was a mother and a son, that had a nursery school, and all the kids said that, hey, they're bringing us underground, they're raping us, blah, blah, blah. They made up all this shit.
Like Pizzagate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was just kids making up stories. And people went to prison over this.
It's like Salem, like the Salem witch trials. When we don't have the full story there, but I feel pretty confident in saying that we probably figured it out as a society, that it was two girls wanting to get revenge on certain people in the community, and just called them witches, and they ended up getting burned to death.
Yeah,
I mean that's pretty much how it's looked at today, and I feel that's probably accurate. Though we don't know the full story, there may be more to it, but yeah. And you know what? I still have, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, I still have the FASA D&D Doctor Who set that your friend gifted to me. Remember, it was one of your childhood friends. He had it has like the Doctor Who role playing game.
I don't know. Who?
Wow. I don't remember his name. I thought you would. He was your childhood friend. You used to watch Doctor Who with him.
I don't know. Ken?
Yeah, Ken.
It
was Ken.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Ken. Yeah. I still have it.
Well, we should play it sometime. Ah!
Well, I should. Maybe next time we get together, I'll bring it over and you can show me how to play.
No, those. The thing is that those kind of role playing games, they take a lot of dedication. They take a lot of let's meet every single weekend to play the campaign. It takes a lot of devotion to play those games, and I respect that. And it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's all right. But anyway.
Okay, back to... I don't even know how the fuck we got to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But, all right, so we find out, or Jessica finds out, that Paula knew that Keats has been alive for quite a while. Not at the beginning, but she was aware of it. And so Jessica convinces Paula to say, you need... all the shit that's going on in town, I'm getting blackballed here. We need to resolve this. So you tell Keats that we'll meet at my home at 10 o'clock tonight or something. And so she's going to have Keats, Paula, and Amos there to discuss what's happening. And so that's where we find out that Keats had planned, because he was getting death threats, probably from Ronald Ross on his last episode. So he had decided he conspired with the producer, what was his name? Doug Hellman, to kind of take this so he could go and I guess use it as a cover because he was going to do another story about a drug cartel.
Yeah.
And he was going to get on the boat, and then Doug was going to drive the boat out while he jumped overboard and got a car and went in the opposite direction. However, they were not expecting the bomb or a bomb to be on the boat.
Yeah, so Doug Hellman is the real victim in this story. So the question is Kevin the murderer? He is not, as Jessica quickly realizes.
Yeah, and Amos even calls it. He says, hey, either because no one knew about the boat, because he said, no one knew about that boat. I didn't even know about the boat until 8 o'clock the night before. So no one knew that boat had been rented, and except for you and your producer. So either Hellman killed himself, blew himself up on purpose, or it was you.
So, blah! That's our solution. But it's not, ladies and gentlemen. What happens next, Steve?
So, so the question is, well, obviously, I don't, even though I really dislike Keats, I don't think he's a killer. So we do have to find out the saboteur, the guy who planted the bomb. He must have known about that boat early enough to get to the boat, plan it,
right.
And so that's what we got to figure out. And it comes to the point where someone must have overheard Doug
right.
talking about the boat to Keats, their plan. Someone
right.
in the room. Yeah.
And the only person that could have done that is Nick. Oh, I had to put my glasses on. Hold on.
Well, almost. Well, we got to get to the reason why. Okay, yeah. Nick is the killer, the older anchor. But why? Why did he do it? So, through another conversation that Jessica has with Judith, not Judas, Judith, that's the wife. We find out that there was and I think they even discuss it at the very beginning of the episode, but they discuss that there was an audience survey, and that one of the anchors got a really low score. She didn't know who got the low score, but someone did. We eventually do find out it was Nick. He's just too old. You know, they like Paula because she's young and pretty. They like Keats because he's kind of that hard-nosed, sensationalist reporter. So they're popular, but they're the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the producers, but the studio. They want to get rid of Nick.
So Nick is like, "Fuck no! I'm gonna kill Kevin, and I'll get in the right place." So he's the murderer, and that's his motive. Right. And Jessica confronts him, and he sort of confesses a little bit too easily.
Yeah, well, she kind of lays it out, and I still don't understand, except for that one episode we did about the brother with the actress. Why can't I think of it? We just did it.
Broadway Melody.
Yeah, Melody. Where I've always been concerned that Jessica's going to tell these killers that, okay, here, I know your motive. I know you did it, and she cuts right to the jugular too. She doesn't. I don't know. I'm always surprised she confronts some of these people alone. Yeah. Thankfully, we had the old mother in Broadway, but I mean, he could have taken out both those old women. The son, I just can't believe. Anyways, stupid. I think that when Jessica does that, it's probably not the best thing. But he could have done something. He could have hit her over the head with that typewriter. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Jessica.
But I liked how this one ended because he says basically, I had to make a move because they're going to get rid of me, and he goes, that's when I learned that the wrapping paper is more important than the package in this industry. I like that. The wrapping paper is more important than the package. Saying that they just wanted beautiful looking people. They didn't want an experienced news reporter on the show.
Yeah.
And not only that, the episode ends on a somber note, almost like Columbo. So there's nobody, like a freeze frame of Jessica laughing, Grady doing some goofy shit. No, it's kind of, he's like, I'm just going to finish up this story while I wait for the police. And then it just ends right there. No credits. Very somber.
Huh. So what did we think of this episode, Steve?
Well, we're going to get there. I want to say one thing.
Oh, okay.
I did not think Nick was going to be the killer. Did you feel like you...
No. I was confused
Who
the
do you
whole
think
time.
it was?
No, I shouldn't say confused. I was following along with it, but I think that there was a lot of things done with Kevin that it sort of derailed me from thinking about who the killer was. Like it wasn't. It obviously wasn't his ex-wife or his wife. She was not the murderer. She was too obvious. But Nick, I didn't see coming.
No, I didn't see
this.
that at all.
This one didn't. This one did not. How do I say this? This one sort of had a lot of red herrings to it. In that it wasn't all about. Steve, what's his name? I'm so drunk. It wasn't all about what's his name, and you know, what's his name, Steve?
Keith?
Yeah.
Kevin
It wasn't
Keats?
all about Keith,
Uh-huh.
and it was all about Keith in the story, but that was all
Kevin.
just subterfuge to who the real murderer was. And I knew that watching it, but still watching it, I wasn't trying to figure out who the murderer was, which was interesting. Because then when you find out who the murderer was, I was like,
And it was all because of timing. I mean, because at one point Nick says to Jessica, says to Paula in front of Jessica, you know, you weren't wanted here. You know, Doug didn't want you here. Well, you find out later that was part of the conversation that was being held privately between Keats and Doug.
yeah.
And it was because Nick overheard it. He was leaving the room at the time, but he overheard and figured out what was going on.
It's a good clue. I love clues.
Can I tell you?
I love clues.
Yes, I know you love them. So can I tell you who I thought the killer was? And you're going to laugh.
Who?
So I thought, okay, this is a lot of misdirection going on. Like you said, with the wife, Paula seemingly to be lying to Jessica. Well, she lies multiple times to Jessica to kind of keep the true nature of where Kevin is. So there's a scene, and I was suspicious of this guy he was literally in the second scene of the episode. I was suspicious of him from the very beginning, but the scene that sold it to me that he was the killer was when Jessica and Wiley were playing chess in her home. And they were talking. We found out that Wiley was listening to her conversations with Amos. And what did he say? But no, it was just the way he was talking, like how he hated the situation. And I said, he hates that somebody came, and that he knew that Jessica was not a fan of Keats. And so I'm thinking he's the one. He did it. And after that scene, in my head, I almost felt 80% sure he was the killer.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. Because he was like a random character. Not only that, he was a random character to replace Seth for... And I know Seth comes back. So he was only there for one episode, as far as I'm aware. And I figured, this guy, he shouldn't be there. He's a stranger in a strange land. He doesn't belong in Cabot Cove.
No. Turns out that the killer is... Steve, take it. Come on.
Well, we already said Nick.
Yeah. So the killer is Nick, and that's it. Okay.
All right, I'm ready to review this sucker.
All right.
You ready?
I'm so drunk.
I see you scoring this really low, by the way you have been talking about it. So, what would you rate Obituary for a dead anchor? 1 out of 8 toes. How many toes do you give it?
I'm going to give it 7. I like this episode. I think it...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I did like it. Despite what you thought of my drunk ass talking.
Okay.
This episode touched all the mystery steps for me. I really didn't know what was going on. The whole thing about Kevin being arrested and all that, and he's not dead, that was all subterfuge. But if you look and you listen very carefully, you'll know who the murderer is. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 8. And I'm sorry that I can't be more colorful than that. Because I'm going to have some murder. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's funny. I picked my review before you give yours. I already know what number I have in mind. Sometimes you'll say something and it'll influence, and I'll change my number. But it's funny. I picked the same. I picked 7 toes out of 8. I really enjoyed this. I liked that I couldn't figure out who the killer was, and there is a lot of, like you said, red herrings. I enjoyed that though. Because it's the producer. We got 2 producers, have their own in-game for the show. I did not see Nick as being the killer.
Yeah.
There is actor.
I absolutely agree with you. Yes.
And Nick is a likable character. It's funny. We're talking about one of these news anchors who is just, you hate him. You want him dead. You're really hoping. I hope he's the one that dies. That sounds bad, but he's such a douchebag. And then you have Nick, the actual killer, but you like him. And I forgot who the actor was plays him, but he was great. You really feel sorry for him, and how it ends on that somber note, like the Columbos. Because that's one thing I don't like about some of the Murder She Wrote, as opposed to Columbo's. I like it when Columbo says, I know you did it, and I'm taking you in, and it just ends. Like, you don't see him actually take the person to jail. You might see him arrest him, but it's usually he's having a one-on-one talk with the killer. Like, I may not agree with what you had to say, but I respect you. Kind of attitude, right? I'm gonna
agree with you there, but I think that the killer, Nick, I think he gave up too easily. Like, he was like, oh gosh darn it, you got me. Yeah, I killed him. Blah blah blah. I think it was too
some
easy.
of the clues were a little out there, because he could have said, well, how do you know it was me that overheard? Maybe it was your operator overheard Amos talking to the boat. What about the guy who rented the boat? He knew about it. Like, how did it all zero in on Nick? That I could not answer. I felt like there was a lot of jumping to conclusions in this situation. But again, we got a 45-minute episode. I know we got to kind of do that sometimes. But I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, me too. So what are you going to rate it?
I gave it 7 toes at 8.
Okay. All right, we both agreed this is a good episode. Yay! Because the last 2 I didn't like too much.
No.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
I will say this. So, it was my birthday recently. And my daughter, she knows that I've been enjoying Murder, She Wrote. She made me a handmade birthday card, but it's in the shape of the book, or the leather cover from the beginning of Murder, She Wrote. You know how she puts her notes or her type pages in, and then she closes the book cover? It's that as the card cover.
Okay.
Isn't that neat? I thought that was really clever.
That's wonderful. Wait, which is... I don't know what to say to that. That's great, Steve. I'm glad that... okay, I'm just trying to figure out...
I got a Murder, She Wrote birthday card. That's what I'm saying. You cannot buy those.
All right, so Steve, spin the wheel for season 4.
So we're moving right to that. Okay. Happy birthday, Steve. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Steve just had a birthday. Steve just had a birthday. On January 20th or 21st. I can't remember.
I think it's funny that your partner wished me happy birthday. And then, like 5 hours later, I get something from you. Like, okay.
What did you do for your birthday, Steve?
Would you believe we went to a Chinese buffet place?
Did you have the beef with broccoli, Steve? What did you have?
Yeah, but the beef was so nasty. It wasn't even so gross. Okay, so cats have already spun the wheel.
They're
all right.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
All right. So we are going to watch. Shit. Wait. I have to get the right glasses for this. Okay, this is really good. Murder Through the Looking Glass. Ooh.
What's that about?
I don't know. Hold on.
You don't look this stuff up?
What's that about? What? I don't know what that is. I need to look that up before I talk about it. I don't know. Hold on. This is great podcasting right here.
It is.
Us looking shit up. Murder. She wrote. Okay. So
it's episode 16.
Episode 16. No, fuck you. No. It's in season 4. What's it called again?
Murder Through the Looking Glass. Oh my god.
So drunk. Wait, hold on. See, I see 12,000 Oh, here it is. Okay, there's no description. Oh, wait. Well, in Connecticut for a convention, Jessica hears the dying confession of a hitman and uncovers a mysterious safe house housing an important foreign dignitary. That's what I got.
So, takes place in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one thing I thought it was interesting. Wait, before we close the door on Obituary for a Dead Anchor. There's the scene where Jessica's talking to Keats, that interview, and she's like, I can't imagine. He's asking her, why do you want to live here? Basically, this place is boring and slow, and she talks about how her and her husband bought a house and they built the house up. Her husband died here, and she says, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I'm like, you go to New York later. Just saying.
You go, Steve. You go. You tell her. Anyway.
That's all I got to say about that.
Our next episode will be about that thing that...
Murder Through a Looking Glass.
Yeah, Murder Through a Looking Glass. All right, good night, everybody.
God.
I hate you.
Good night.
Say good night. God damn it.
I did. You say good night.
Thank you for listening to the Cabot Cove Confab. If you've enjoyed it, please leave us a favorable review on Apple Podcasts. Also, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter at Cabot Cove Confab or email us at cabotcoveconfab@gmail.com.